The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
Rabbi ben Shushan shared a story that I think has multiple elements to it that are absolutely astonishing. He said he went to Eretz Yisrael and he went to Meron, to the caver of Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, and he's standing there, and an Israeli fellow, totally not religious, comes over to him and says, perhaps in Hebrew, could you perhaps show me what we should say here? What prayers do we say? So he said, if Rabbi ben Shushan is a big speaker, he's like, this is my chance. Embrace another Jew. Brings him close to the caver, takes out a Tehillim, he begins to show him, they begin to say the prayers together. And the guy looks up at him and says, you just seem so familiar to me. You seem so... And he said, I don't think we've ever met. The guy says, no, you really remind me of somebody who I knew many years ago when I was just an 8-year-old kid. He says, there was a guy in yeshiva, Itri, when I was 8 years old. I wasn't religious and I used to come there and everybody ignored me. He said, but one guy would learn with me for a few minutes each night. I don't remember the guy's name. Doobie. And Rabbi ben Shushan begins crying. He says, that was me. That was me. I was in Yeshiva Itri. I was there. I remember you. Yeah, the 8-year-old boy. Totally not religious boy used to come in to the yeshiva. He was sitting in the community. He lived right there. He didn't know what to do with himself. He came to the yeshiva. The guy said, yeah, everyone ignored me. Nobody wanted to talk to this irreligious 8-year-old boy. He said, but you reach out. He said, yeah, we used to learn just a couple minutes each night. And this irreligious fellow turns to Rabbi ben Shushan and says, you should know. You were there for 2 years. Over those 2 years we learned. By the time we were at the end of our learning, I had already begun to turn my life around and become religious. He said, I decided I'm going to get bar mitzvah and I'm going to be a religious Jew. He said, but then you went back home and you got married and you weren't there anymore. And the next time I came to the yeshiva, there was nobody who asked to learn with me. And after a while, with nobody asking to learn with me, I just left. And then eventually it all faded. And I haven't been religious for the past 20 years. Never happened. The transformation never happened. And Rabbi ben Shushan is crying. He's crying. And he says, tomorrow I'm going to Yeshiva Itri. Meet me there at 11. He meets him there the next day at 11 and he brings him to the Rosh Yeshiva and he tells him the story. And he says, I messed up the first time. I dropped the ball the first time. I'm not letting it happen again. Who here in this yeshiva can learn with him? And the Rosh Yeshiva said, I will learn with him. And they began a chavrusa from that encounter. And the story is incredible in so many ways. Look at the miracle of Hashem bringing them together in Meron. What are the odds that they should both meet up? But because Hashem is the Melamed Torah L'Am Yisrael, Hashem cares about that Jew. He'll make a miracle happen to give him another shot. But look at the consequences of the learning that Rabbi ben Shushan had, learning with his 8-year-old kid. Everyone was ignoring him. Could anyone imagine that they had in their hands the power to turn someone's life around? And we could have had 20 more years of a Jew more connected, doing mitzvahs. Everything was lost. Nobody fathomed what was available, reaching out to that 8-year-old boy, and what Ben Shushan was accomplishing when he spent those few minutes. Even he did not comprehend. All it was a few minutes of his time. And he was turning over someone's life. Look at the magnitude of what he was accomplishing. Look at the lost opportunity of those that ignored it. Look at the miracle of Hashem reaching out to bring this fellow another chance because Hashem wants to teach him Torah. And I think there's one other thing. Hashem could have brought him back through anybody. Why did he send Rabbi Dovi ben Shushan back? You know why, I think? Because in the merit of him starting that mitzvah, he had the merit to be the one to see the ending. Because he took those few minutes each night, he deserves to be the one to bring it to the finish line. Because of the greatness of that merit, if we would just take a few minutes. Plant the seeds. Don't give up on people. Don't think we know who will and who won't be receptive to the Torah that we want to share. We know nothing.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org